along with a corresponding question. Okay, so let's go. Let's try out. Okay, let's see whether I can display your answers. Okay, at the moment, I see 4 people who are participating, right? These are the participants that I see: Dia, Yuzhe, Adrian, Clarissa, and Jafina. Okay, right. So this is the passage. Okay, I'll give you a minute just to glance through it. In a moment, I will go into the questions, and every question I've tagged to a part of the text. So I've copied and pasted the text. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize the text, but just read through it and see if you understand the story. Now, whenever you read a comprehension passage for the first time, you always read 2 ways. The first way is to read for gist, and the second way is to read for detail. I say again, the first time you read for gist, and I'll explain what gist is. And the second time you read for detail. Don't touch the questions yet, just read for gist and for detail. What do I mean by gist? Anybody happens to know what gist means? G-I-S-T. What do I mean by gist? It's not an acronym, it's a word, it's an actual word. It actually means something. It's not an acronym. Anybody knows what gist is? Anybody? Dia?
A general meaning of something.
Very good, right? I don't know whether you Googled that or you already had that in your head, but a gist is a general meaning or a big idea, right? So this whole passage would probably be able to fall under a title, okay? Right? You will be able to give it a title. Now, the title of a story is kind of like the gist of it, right? The main idea that runs through the entire story. So I read the story to get the main idea. And then the second time I read it for details. That means information about the story which I find interesting or which may be relevant towards the solving of the questions I will encounter later. So gist, I get a big picture of the passage. I know what it's generally about. And then detail, I get the information nuggets that are important or interesting to myself. Okay, so both are very interesting and important ways to read a passage. So read the passage, please. Look at it. Okay, I will go past this in a moment, but let's just read through, right? And maybe some of you can try to give me what you think is the main idea, title, or gist of this story before we go any further. All right, no wrong answers, right? Everything is open and on the table. Anybody? Very quickly read through it, skim through. Your first reading should be just skimming through. Read too much into detail. Zoe and Dior, can you turn on your cameras, please? Thank you. Dior, please turn off your background so that I can see your face. It's important that you're visible to me while I'm having my lesson, please. Thank you. Dior, can you please turn on your camera or remove your background so that I can see you during this lesson? Zoe, are you able to turn on your camera? Okay, can I move on to the questions now? Before I go into that, are you all able to give me the gist of the story? Anyone wants to give me a gist or the main idea of this story? What do you think the story is about? Adrian?
It's about like a child, right, who lives in a compound, and then there's another compound across him, and then they share a house with 2 families, and it's very small. And then the other side of compound, right, they have fights between.
I have to stop you. You're giving too much information. Remember, gist is literally a title, right? Your title cannot fit onto the front cover of your book already, okay? Too long already. So if I were to summarize this, yes, Dia, go ahead.
Living in a compound.
Living in a compound, possible? Yes. Anybody else? Clarissa, go.
The old times.
All right, the old days, the old times, right? Times, Singapore in the old days, 1964, right? You see the year that's given there somewhere, right? Roshan, can you turn on your camera, please, my dear? Thank you. Right. So all of these are valid titles. All are good, right? The good old days, the olden times, living in a kampong, right? I think Adrian was trying to tell us about, having, rival kampongs and stuff like that. So that all works, right? All of these are ideas embedded in the story. And it's important because later you see that these will appear in your questions. Okay, good, well done, thank you. So reading for gist and detail is very important as we go on through these questions. So take a look at the first question, okay? Look at your own Nearpod window. You will see more clearly than what you see on mine, okay? Okay, can you all see the activity starting? Right, are you able to type in the answer? Oh, very good. I can see your answers on the screen live, and you all can see it too. Okay, but please ignore that. Type in your own answers, all right? So the question should be on your Nearpod. You should see the full question there, right? The question, by the way, is, did the writer like the new roof? Give a reason to support your answer, okay? So why don't you read this extract, the text that's above it, that's where the answer is, and try to find it and answer the question, okay? Remember, this is a 2-mark question, and it's a did the writer like the new roof? Remember what I taught you from our previous review about did questions, right? I said something very important about questions that start with did, right? If you remember what I said, okay, let's see if you remember. Oops. Okay, some of you have already answered. Very good, well done. Okay. Okay, so let me read you this extract. The house, which I remember from my days in the kampong, had wooden walls and an atap roof, which was later replaced with a zinc one in the name of modernity. So olden days was atap, now became zinc. So the new roof refers to the zinc roof. But in fact, atap, though unsafe because of the risk of fire, was much cooler than zinc. Right? So I must regrettably conclude that Lucas's answer is not correct. Right? Lucas, do you understand why your answer is incorrect? So you see, you are too quick to jump to conclusions. You are not reading the passage carefully. That's my point, right? When you read, you must read for detail now, not just anymore. So the detail here is the old atap roofs were better than the new zinc ones because they were cooler. Even though they were unsafe, they were prone to fire, they did keep the house cooler. So did the author like the new zinc roof? No. And I'm glad to see that all of you answered yes or no. Okay, so Dia, right? It's not about whether it was safer. It was about which was the one that the writer liked. Do you understand? So you see, the question controls the answer. I'm not asking you which one is safer. I'm asking you which one the writer liked. Can you see, everybody? So the way you read the question and interpret it determines the accuracy of your answer. So Dia, 0 because of yes, right? So that's the wrong answer. Yuzi, no, the writer said that atap was much cooler. Okay, I accept that. Adrian, no, the author liked the old atap roof as it was much cooler. I accept that. 2 marks. Jafina, no, even though the atap was unsafe, it was much cooler. I give you the full 2 marks as well. Clarissa, no, the author likes the atap roof because it was much cooler. I give you the 2 marks as well. Kylie, Kylie, your answer is not complete. Okay, Kylie?
I didn't finish it.
Yeah, then don't, you have to try to keep within the 2-minute time limit, okay? There's a 2-minute time limit for every question, so you all must answer quickly, There should be a clock. Do you all see the clock running down? Yeah, okay, so never mind, first question, you kind of get the idea, right? So try to answer within the 2-minute limit and try your best. It's okay if we get it wrong, but we discuss why we get it wrong. And even our mistakes are valuable, right? So be free and daring to make mistakes because this is a safe place. If we make mistakes in the exams, then not so safe, right? So let's do it now. Let's do it here. And then we can learn from it, okay? So the answer is clearly no, because the writer prefers the old atap house as it was cooler, right? Atap roof, I mean. Okay, next. Okay. There were limited amenities, right? So was the tap adequate for the people in kampong? Was the tap adequate? Was it good enough for the people in kampong? Support your answer with evidence from the text. So again, This is a yes/no question. So be very careful. You must answer with a yes/no. Was it adequate for the people in the kampong? Yes or no? And then why? Look at your own nearport window. Try not to look at mine because mine is going to be very small, right? Try to look at your own nearport window and then scribe the answer. Tap, specifically the tap. Was it good enough for the people? Was it good enough for them? Yes or no? And then why? Okay. Tell me when the time is up by waving your hand so I can review the answers, okay? Get the idea, right? Very good. We are going at a good, steady pace. Thank you for your participation. All good. Time's up. All wave hands to tell me that the time is out, the 2 minutes. Okay. Is the time up already? No. Okay. Thank you. Adrian. Yuta, no distracting backgrounds, please. Thank you.
What jujutsu?
Adrian. Okay. Is that it? Has the time elapsed already?
Mr. Pang, there's actually no timer for this question.
Oh, boo, boo. I don't know why that's the case. Supposed to be 2 minutes for every question. Anyway, let's see. Oh, sorry. No, let's go back. Okay, let's see. Okay. Answer is no. Absolutely correct. All of you are correct. No, no, except for Roshan. No. The answer is no, okay? Was it adequate, Roshan? No, it was not good enough because there's only one tab left for everybody to share. Okay, so it's definitely not. The answer is definitely no, common sense. But the question is why? Why? Because of the long queue? Yes, that's one part of it. What else besides the long queue? Dia?
It was shared with 100 people.
Okay, so the sharing with 100 people resulted in a long queue every time they had to collect water, right? Yeah, so that is the answer, okay? So you must mention the fact that the tap was shared amongst many people and that resulted in a long queue. So long queue for the tap, Lucas, you don't get the mark. Dia, one tap shared with 100 people. And then if they blah, 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 and then stand in a long queue, Dia, you get the mark, you get 2 marks. Yuze, no, there was one tap to be shared between 100 people, you get 2 marks. Adrian, there was only one tap, people needed to bring water, so the queue was extremely long. Adrian, you don't get the mark because you don't mention that it was shared with many people, right? So very important, you see 2 marks, so you must have 2 parts to your answer. Your yes and no is not the part that's considered. Do you all understand? The yes and no doesn't count as one of the parts. So please be very careful there. Clarissa, they had to bring the queue for always too long. Again, Clarissa, you didn't mention the sharing. Kylie, people had to bring water from the tap to the kitchen. Okay, it also did not mention the number of people. Okay, let's see. Only one tap over 50 houses. Yes, but you don't mention the queue, Jairus. So you also don't get the mark. Okay, so there must be a long queue caused by many people sharing the same tap. Right? You get the idea, everybody? 2 parts to a question, both parts must be linked and provided in the answer to get the full marks. Okay, next. Okay, this is the question. 2 changes made to the outer kampong area. This one is very difficult, right? This one, even if you give to an adult, I guarantee you they can only get one change. Let's see if anybody can challenge this adult level question and come up with 2 changes made to the outer part of the kampong. Okay, the outer kampong area. The answer is there. It's in that passage that is attached. Okay, let's see if you can spot it. No time limit, right? Take your time. I think there's one very obvious one, but then there's one that's buried quite deep that you need to be able to unearth. Okay, there are 2 changes. Are you all ready? Should I review the answer? No, not yet. Okay. Or should I
Haven't even
review your
started.
answer? Okay. Adrian, don't get distracted by other things.
I was reading the question. I was trying to find the answer. It's kind of
Don't
hard.
get distracted by the question. Ha ha ha. Okay, come on, you can do it. I mean, you probably can't, but give it a try. It is rather difficult.
I'm sad.
And I'll explain to you the point I'm trying to bring across by giving you a difficult question like this, okay? There is a point to this. I'm not being needlessly difficult. Right? You have to read deeper. That's the hint. You have to read deeper. Can't just take off the surface. Can't just copy and paste for this question. You have to infer. Do you want me to highlight to you where is the answer? And even then, you won't get it. You don't want? Okay, I won't tell you. But even if I highlighted the answer to you in the passage, you still won't get it. At least I think not. We shall see. We shall see. I talk a good game, right? Later you see whether you're convinced about my answer or not.
But the answer is in this paragraph, right?
Guaranteed. And there are 2 answers. You can only find one, right, Adrian? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Unless what? You can find 3. You can find 4. Is it? I will be very, very surprised if that's the case. But never mind. Give it a try. Okay, can I show some of your answers? Can Let's see what some of you have written now. Okay, I won't tell you the answer yet. Okay, I just see what some of you have written. Okay. 3 ponds were removed and so were the chickens. Very funny. Yeah. Okay, thank you for trying. There were 3 ponds later, or 3 ponds later. Oh dear, 3 ponds removed, 3 ponds later. 3 ponds given, 3 ponds taken away. Now we don't even know whether the ponds are there or not. Oh, that's very, very interesting. Okay. Number of chickens reduced as they ate them. Hello. What were the changes made to the outer kampong area? The chickens are not involved at all. The chickens are not changes. How can you track the chickens? It's not the number of chickens. Ayo, y'all. Why is it that you're all obsessed with the ducks and chickens? The ducks and chickens are not part of the answer. I don't care whether you raise ducks and chickens or elephants and zebras. I don't care. There's nothing to do with the change to the outer kampong area. No. Okay. Yes, the ponds is correct. Okay, the ponds part, I take it, right? But you all are confused whether it's removed or it was added. Okay, later I'll explain. Okay, they raised 50 ducks and a lot of chicken. Jafina, nothing to do with the ducks and chickens. The change to the outer kampong area. Okay, can you see outer kampong area became more developed and there were 3 ponds in the passage? That's where the answer is. Okay. So nothing to do with chickens and ducks, okay? Clarissa, 3 ponds were removed. The garden was also removed. The garden also removed. Excuse me? Now I'm getting very confused. I don't know where you get the garden removed from. Okay? Anyway, garden's not involved. Not important. The 3 ponds, what about the 3 ponds, Jairus? Did the 3 ponds get added or did the 3 ponds get taken away? You are not stating what happened to the 3 ponds, so no. And it's got nothing to do with flowers, roses, and chrysanthemums. No plants, no animals, okay? This answer contains neither plants nor animals, right? None of the above. Outer kampong became more developed. Okay. Hao Qian, you got 1 point, okay? And there were more flowers in their garden. What? More flowers in the garden? No flowers, no chickens, no ducks, no chrysanthemums. Tree ponds and fruit trees. Dior, what do you mean by that? I don't understand, you know. What do you mean by tree ponds and fruit trees? No, I'm asking you what was the change? What changed, right? What happened, right? You cannot just say tree ponds and fruit trees. You must say what happened. Tree ponds and two fish and fruit trees doesn't answer the question. Roshan, there were 3 ponds, there were flowers. I'm not asking you what's there, Roshan. I'm asking you what changed. Got it? What changed in the outer area? Before, after. Before and after. Okay? Dia?
Is one of them the writer was given our own tiny section of the small garden?
No. I already said the answer is here. Before the outer kampong area became more developed, there were 3 ponds. That's the change to the outer kampong area. The ducks don't change anything. The chickens and the chrysanthemums and the flowers don't change anything. Okay? I say categorically, no animals or plants were hurt in this answer. Don't use them. Okay? Leave them out. So, how do I change before the outer kampong area became more developed? There were 3 ponds into the answer. Hao Qian has partially answered it, right? So the area became more developed, correct? Because before the outer kampong area became more developed. So what was the change? The change was it became more developed. That's 1 point. So Hao Qian gets 1 mark. Got it? So then the second part is, in the process of developing this outer kampong area, what did they do? They removed the ponds. So Adrian gets 1 mark, right? The 3 ponds were removed. Lucas gets 1 mark, okay? Right? And then Dia gets 1 mark for the 3 ponds. There were 3 ponds later. No, Dia doesn't get any marks. The ponds don't appear later. They disappear, right? And the chickens are not involved. 0, okay? So Yuze, 3 ponds before doesn't tell me what happened to 3 ponds after. Yuze, you understand? No? I'm not asking you what happened before. I'm asking you what happened after. The 3 ponds were removed. Do you all understand, everybody? Can you see how difficult comprehension can be at PSLE level? Okay, so please read carefully. All right. The people in the kampong ate the ducks and chickens, so there'll be less of them. Kylie, people eating chickens and ducks have nothing to do with the change in the kampong. Do you understand? Okay, I can eat chickens and ducks anywhere. I can eat chickens and ducks in the city, right? Doesn't mean I change the city. Okay, you must answer to the question. They're asking you what happened to the area, the place outside the kampong, the outer kampong area, not what happened to the ducks and chickens. I don't know why you're so obsessed with ducks and chickens. One last question. Then I will set the rest of the questions for you to do as kind of like, I don't know, homework. Okay. From paragraph 4, explain why the writer was concerned about the area where she lived. What was the writer's concern about the place where she lived? What was the concern? Okay, concern means what was her worry? What was she uncomfortable about? What was she unhappy about? Concern, right? What was bad about it? Okay, what was her concern? 2 marks, and then we'll end here. Okay, because I have to go for an interview. Try, So the answer, do you want me to tell you what the answer is? I just like kind of highlight it for you, okay? Kinda. Then you'll see whether you can phrase it, okay? Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? But you got to phrase it properly. The question is, explain what was the writer's concern. So your answer should be something along the lines of, the writer's concern was 1 and...
Can I write the writer was concerned about?
Okay, also can. The writer was concerned about 1 and 2. Also can. Okay, but the word concern must be tagged to your answer so that it's clear that it's connected to the question, right? Answer in complete sentences. Don't just write sentence fragments, Dior. And please appear in the frame before I turn you off. Thank you. Stephanie, are you able to turn your camera on? Stephanie, are you there? Thank you. Please turn your camera on at all times. I don't want you to ghost me, okay? Thank you. All right, so again, the answer is in the highlighted portion. It's pretty straightforward, but you have to rephrase it, right? The writer's concern was 1 and 2, or the writer was concerned about 1 and 2. Either way is fine, but the word concern is the keyword linking you to the question. Otherwise, you will lose track and write things that are not relevant to the answer, to the question itself. So again, this is a think and search question. Oh, I forgot to categorize the previous question, sorry, but anyway, think and search. Yeah. Okay, so ready? Ken? 3:28, gotta go soon, gotta go soon. Okay. I think the first part of the answer is quite straightforward, right? Okay, quite straightforward, right? Okay, let's see. What was the concern, right? What was the worry? Okay. It's a 2-mark answer, Lucas. Lucas, where are you? It's a 2-mark answer. How can you give 1 point? You get what I mean? It's a 2-mark question. 2 marks. Can you see here? It's 2 marks. You can never give 1 point for a 2-mark question. Okay, Lucas? Please don't. Okay, you have to be thorough enough to give 2 parts to your answers. 2 marks, 2 parts. 3 marks, 3 parts. 4 marks, 4 parts. You know, it's arithmetic, simple math. Okay, Lucas, not really hygienic, 1 mark, but you know, 0 for effort. Please try to give 2 points at least. Dia, writer's concern. The writer's concern was about the pigs as they made the banana, jackfruit, and papaya trees not so hygienic. Can you elaborate what you mean by that, Dia?
Since the farmers in the area where the pigs, it's not very hygienic.
Yeah, so just say that it's not hygienic. I'm not too sure what you mean by make the banana, jackfruit, and papaya trees not so hygienic. You mean the pigs contaminated the trees? You know what I mean? Yeah, so you must be very careful how you express your answer, okay? So the use of hygienic is good enough, right? Okay, so the concern was that the toilets were not hygienic, user, and some farmers reared pigs. Okay, toilet not very hygienic, I give it to you. But why is it that the pigs are a concern? You don't explain. So you only get 1 mark. Okay, so far 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. Okay. So all 1 mark so far. I'll explain to you what's the second mark. Adrian, hygiene. Okay. So what about the pigs coming down under the toilet and waiting there? You have to explain what is her concern, you see. You cannot just narrate what happened in the story. You're not expressing her concern. So what? Some people like pigs, what? Maybe they like the fact that pigs are watching them while they do their toilet. Who knows, right? Yeah. So you have to explain. No. So only 1 mark. Jafina. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. I just skim through. I won't go through everything. Okay. So none of you got the second point, right? So the second point is this. They had to share the toilet with the pigs. Do you understand? So her concern was that she had to share the toilet with the pigs because she was doing her business, and then she looked through the floorboard, right? She could see the pigs down there looking up at her, right? So the concern she had was that she had to share the toilet with the pigs. So A, it was not hygienic, right? It was dirty, right? It was germ infested. And B, there were pigs staring at her, right? She was sharing the space with pigs, right? Not the fact that the pigs were there and all that stuff. The concern was that she was sharing the space with the pigs. That was her concern. The keyword is sharing. Do you all understand? Are you all clear? All good? Okay, so I'm going to stop the session here and I'm going to assign this to you all as a student practice. Yes, Dia?
Mr. Bang, I can't see the last week's recorded video.
Okay, I'm very sorry. I will post it both last week and this week's video for you together in the parents post by tonight. Okay?
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll put that together as a set because you need to connect last week's video to today's session. Okay, but So far, can you all see the difficulty of questions and how you all need to be a lot more careful and read the question a lot more carefully when you answer? Most basic level, 2 marks, you must have 2 points. And then you must see how the points connect one to the other. And you must be very clear about your logic, right? You cannot just copy and paste, cannot anymore. It worked in 3 and 4, but 5 and 6, you are in a totally different league now. If you understand what I mean by a different league, it's a higher level now. So you have to rephrase it to answer the question's requirements. Okay, so we'll do more of this in future sessions, and I'll explain to you more, right? But for now, I will post this as a live practice for you to write in your answers, and then I will give you a score at the end. Okay? Thank you very much. I'm sorry to rush you all today. I will see you again on Monday. Bye.
To your interview.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, everybody. Bye. Bye.